What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosa. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It's Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, welcome back to Tuesday, my friend.
Yeah, Tuesday, we're here again, and let's get into it. We got some news.
We definitely do. Ubisoft revealed their new game, which was codenamed BattleCat, is now titled X Defiant. We have a few thoughts and things to discuss on that. Skate 4 is teased from a new studio, Full Circle, and the Coalition. Are they working on a new IP? Scott, let's get into it. But before we do, everybody should be over at twitch.tv/theofficial ITG, as well as YouTube, where you can join us live. But if you can't hit us up live, then hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Buddy, let's jump into what Ubisoft revealed yesterday is their free-to-play title, X Defiant. Tom Clancys X Defiant is a newly announced free-to-play fast-paced arena first-person shooter coming from Ubisoft San Francisco. After teasing the game for the past 24 hours, Ubisoft has finally announced the latest game in the Tom Clancy series, Tom Clancy's X Defiant. I got a couple thoughts, as you can probably tell from that little pause.
I can hear them bottlenecking right now.
I just like, come on, man. Various Tom Clancy properties collide in the game, and the arena shooter will take characters from the series like The Division, Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon to provide a hectic, competitive environment. X Defiant is planned to be a live service game, and Ubisoft has committed to supporting the game after launch and providing more content as time goes by. As you'd expect from the arena shooter like this, you'll have the ability to deploy a suite of gadgets and abilities depending on your character and your position on the battlefield. We saw a couple characters and what's kind of revealed. We get the Wolves that are tanks inspired from Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Echelon support class inspired by Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, and Outcasts who are healers inspired by The Division. So, Scott, we can jump into the beta on August 5th for PC. I'm really kind of waiting on the console release of this. They did show a picture of 8 total characters, so it sounds like we're gonna get 8 of these guys, or 8 different characters, 4 different classes at launch, or 3 different classes at launch. But they have 4 people, 4 different 4 versus 4, I think it was, right?
Okay.
And you can change on the fly when you die, a la Overwatch. Go in, swap out a new class, and you're back in. So it sounds like there's like 2 or 3 different people per class. I don't know, man. A part of me was like, this seems pretty cool, but the other side of it is it's an arena shooter, which has never really kind of hit me the way I'd like it to. But we'll check it out. It's PvP, it's competitive. They have objective-based game modes, and then they have other competitive side to it as well. I don't know, man. I really don't know.
You mentioned Overwatch, and then I'm hoping this takes a more grounded, serious military kind of approach to it.
Sure.
I like Overwatch for being Overwatch, but when it comes to Tom Clancy stuff and Ubisoft, I expect something a little more grounded.
Absolutely.
With a little bit of science fiction flair, that's totally fine. But just I hope it's a little bit more based and the military kind of stuff we would expect from Wildlands or Breakpoint or something like that. But it'll be interesting to see how all these characters work together, because we're getting the little bits of it, kind of a brief explanation, but it'll be hard to really have a proper image of how that's going to work out until we jump into it. And I know you're predominantly console based when it comes to shooters.
Absolutely.
But I think I'm going to have to dip a toe in this one on the PC side, and just to get an idea of what they're going for here, because a live service Ubisoft game arena based is kind of silly, but I have high hopes of this one, even though it seems a little strange.
It's the arena base that kind of throws me off a little bit, completely honest, Scott. Like, I don't like, dude, I love Siege, right? Like, Siege is a 5 versus 5 tactical shooter, and it seems like there's tactics here too. It's 1 shot, 1 kill, like a good headshot and you're dead. Like, it is that straight to the point, right? It's not, here's unload your clip and then you might have to reload to unload half another clip to kill somebody. It's not that situation. I do appreciate that it's, if you get the right shot off, then the person's dead. And I think that, for me, really kind of pulls me in. But when it's an arena-based, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it goes. We don't have a release date, but it looked like there's a solid foundation already in the works over at Ubisoft San Francisco that has me interested to at least dip my toe in. It is free to play. So with the free to play, Scott, what are the microtransactions turned into, right? Where's the battle pass? Where's all these extra skins and weapons and things like this here, and then more classes?
This makes me wonder, did they explicitly show Sam Fisher in the
No.
gameplay footage?
God,
Because
absolutely not.
I don't think he exists anymore.
Sam Fisher is
But
dead. I think somebody
if he
ran him
does,
over.
he's gonna be at the end of Battle Pass, I think.
It's not. No, oh man, Sam Fisher. You want Sam Fisher? Go to Siege. I guess you can play him as Zero, and even that doesn't look like the Sam Fisher we all know and love, right? So yeah, there's
No,
4
I'm
different
stuck.
classes. There's 2 from
I'm
the
stuck
division.
reloading old. I still reload old Splinter Cell to get that one.
Dude, it's the only way you can play as actual Sam Fisher, right? Like it is crazy to me to think of, and we talk about it all the time. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, but it's just
I have to leave it with one thing. I made a joke yesterday, and then I was pretty happy with my joke that I created. But how long do you think until Sam Fisher appears in Mortal Kombat?
That's
He's in just about everything else
He
except
does
for
it.
his own games.
His finisher is a scissor kick that knocks your head off. I think that would be fantastic.
That's not bad.
Oh man, it's yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how this goes. I want to take a definitely dip my toe in the waters of the free to play. It's that easy, right? You can get in. If you don't like it, it doesn't click with you, then you bounce out. So to download the game, I'll give it a shot. But I don't know. I could see a competitive scene here with the game too, Scott. If it's a lot of tactical in that sense, I think we can get into a high competitive esports situation maybe. But we'll see what the future holds, and maybe we'll get a release date sooner than later. But as of right now, all we get is a closed beta, or closed test beta begins on August 5th. On August 5th for PC players in the United States and Canada. So you can check that out and see if you want to jump in and test the water. Scott, what's going on over in the world of EA? Skate 4 was teased with a small little video. A new Skate 4 video suggests the game will be open world and will feature multiple elements, as well as character customization. Full Circle, the new development team behind the game, has shared a teaser explaining a little bit more about what we can expect from the title. One of the talking heads in the video notes is it just looks beautiful, this open world. So there's a kind of little tease. So they did this little, they pulled in streamers and other people to give little impressions, and it's kind of like they dropped little clues, right? Other speakers in the video hint that you'll be able to dismount your board and climb things in the world too, hinting at a more open-ended design. Another streamer suggested that they cannot wait to play the game with their homies, so look for multiplayer to be in there and things like that. So they also stated, Scott, you ready for this? And this is kind of why announce this now? But don't expect to see this at EA Live, which is on Thursday. Like, dude, it's 2 days away. Why wouldn't you just wait? That would be a huge thing right there, because they're not going to have anything from Dragon Age. They're not going to have anything from Star Wars, and they're not going to have anything from Mass Effect. What are we going to check out then at EA Live? Like, Scott, I'm really kind of baffled at this decision to hold this, and just this. Why not hold it? Hold this, man. Like, it would have been a great little tidbit for them to even end the conference off at, because people are starving for Skate 4. People love that whole Skate series, the franchise. It went really well and then disappeared. So the fact that you're able to bring it back now and you drop it 3 days before your actual event makes no sense to me. So I'm hoping that they have something big to show, because I'm kind of skeptical as what we're going to see on Thursday at all. Scott, do you have high hopes for EA Play? And what are your thoughts on Skate 4?
Skate 4 has been something that personally in my life, friends of mine and myself have been clamoring for another Skate title of any sort. We would have accepted a longboard DLC for Skate 3. That would have been beautiful. But I believe it's been a decade now since the last Skate release.
Yeah,
so I'm glad they've made mention of it. We are getting that coming down. It's almost like a Metroid Prime scenario there, where is it really going to happen? Well, it appears that it will. Yeah. And that's really good. But yeah, to your point, what is the next EA presentation going to have? They must really, really be confident in their next iteration of FIFA.
Well, absolutely, that and Madden, right? Like, kind of makes you wonder, what are we going to see on Thursday at their EA Live presentation? Because this, to me, is something you would have held back, especially if you go into E3. This is EA's E3 presentation. We've waited. They didn't go to E3 whatsoever. They held back and stayed out of the whole E3 scope and then launch a month later their own showcase, which they would have done at E3 in a different time frame, but was still within that E3 window. But now we're a whole month away, and now they announced Skate 4, which I would have absolutely held for that presentation. So that why drop this? I'm definitely curious to see what are we going to get on Thursday. And are we going to be excited? Dude, the fact that there is no Dragon Age, there's no Star Wars, and there's supposed to be no Mass Effect, like that's some of their biggest IPs they own right now.
It makes me wonder is there going to be a reveal on a new IP? Because that would break the ice for their presentation.
Sure.
And it would be something exciting and memorable from it. So maybe that's the slant that they're going, but I suppose time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see on Thursday. Northern Nerdcast sets up over a Twitch chat and says it's going to be another Capcom showcase.
Oh no!
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Scott, let's keep rolling with EA as police raid Ukraine warehouse filled with 3,800 PS4 consoles. Yes, PS4. Okay, let's get the police in Ukraine have raided a warehouse filled with 3,800 PS4 consoles, which it originally believed to be a cryptocurrency mining farm. It turns out the undercover operation was instead grinding FIFA Ultimate Team and selling accounts loaded with virtual currency and rare player cards. Buying and selling FIFA accounts is technically against the game's terms of service.
Well, so I suppose it was a bit of a cryptocurrency farm.
Man.
But just with extra attached steps on there. But what a strange thing to happen. First of all, I wasn't aware that PlayStation 4s could be used in such a manner. But that's I suppose they're using bots to grind out FIFA Ultimate Team stuff. That's the first I've ever heard of anything of this. But that's, of course, against the EA terms of service and FIFA terms of service. You're not supposed to game those
to sell
economies to sell. That's not cool with them. But
nope.
I wasn't aware that cryptocurrency farming was necessarily illegal as far as Ukrainian law. Of course, we have no concept of Ukrainian law, but I'm not sure why they were so interested to begin with.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue. I just found that kind of what a weird news story that one broke to hear about. Like I never even thought of the concept of someone even doing that. Like I've seen a few weird things in my time, Scott, but that one it just I don't know. I guess 3,800 PS4s all going with FIFA Ultimate Team to sell. Strange.
I guess it's more lucrative than 4,800 graphics cards mining Bitcoin.
Absolutely. Scott, why don't you get into the next one, buddy? Because this one's for you.
Yes, this is. This is something that's exciting. The creator of Silent Hills creator, has a new horror game that is said to mess with the player's mind, which sounds an awful like Silent Hill, but Konami might be content to let Silent Hill slowly slip into obscurity. But the series creator, Kichiro Toyama, has other ideas. Having parted ways with the publisher way back in 1999, the famed video game director would go on to spend the next 2 decades of his career working under Sony, a tenure which has reached its end just last year. Alongside friends and longtime colleagues Kazunobu Sato and Jinya Akira, Toyama founded Bokeh Game Studio, their first major project being to create an all-new addition to the horror genre. That sounds like quite an all-stars team getting together to pump out something of the sorts of Silent Hill. I'm very excited to see what this is, but this is said to not be specifically related to Silent Hill. And that is because the Konami still owns the IP for that. But from everything that has been seen so far, it would certainly seem that Toyama's talent for imagining grotesque characters and planting them in a world dripping with atmosphere, suspense, and probably a lot of blood is still very much alive. And I agree. That guy has made some all-time classics. I don't think there's no gas in the tank. I think he still has much more to create.
Yeah, I'm sure if he's been kind of out of the Silent Hill thing for a while, right? And it leaves this opportunity. Obviously, they can't use the name Silent Hill. It is owned by Konami, so you're not able just to kind of take that and run with it yourself, which is unfortunate because Silent Hill is such a beloved franchise within the horror family of gamers that everybody's starving for a new one. We've seen PT with Kojima. We've seen this new thing come up with Abandon with Blue Box and whatever is kind of happening over there.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Northern Nerdcast talks a little bit about it in the Twitch chat again. We're just gonna skip on Blue Box, but Silent Hill, we can get the creator in on that one. I think everybody's gonna be in for a great time. Again, we all know it is not for me. There's no doubt about that. But Scott, you and Nate would be all over this one.
Oh yes, it does not have to be Silent Hill by name. Yeah. But considering who's on this project, I'm absolutely excited.
Something in the realm of Silent Hill, right? I think is what everybody's really kind of hoping for.
Yeah, or even if these characters, these people, Tayama specifically, if they did the medium sort of experience.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
But I feel like it would be a lot more psychological, and there's a lot of things that it's going to borrow from the likes of Silent Hill without being a ripoff. But I think it'll just have that depth of play.
Yeah, you can't do the whole copy the monster thing like Resident Evil. That doesn't go very well, right?
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, I would hope they avoid that.
Let's move on to Gears. The Coalition, what are they up to? Gears of War, the Coalition may be working on a new IP. Gears 6 is all but inevitable, but is it the next game from Coalition? Maybe, maybe not, according to a LinkedIn profile listing. A developer working for the Coalition recently updated their LinkedIn profile to note that they're working on levels for a new IP. The Coalition recently demonstrated their work with the Unreal Engine, building a new tech demo to showcase UE5 on the Xbox Series X. We all saw that teaser, eh, Scott? Where
that was absolutely insane. They're talking millions or billions of polygons. It was just something next level. I'm excited to see anything come out in that engine.
Absolutely. There's every chance that the LinkedIn listing refers to a new IP from another Microsoft partner team. However, such as Contraband from Avalanche or one of the Microsoft's others upcoming Xbox games. Microsoft Studios has been known to contribute to each other's projects when needs arise, but the possibility of a new IP from the Coalition certainly sparks the imagination either way. So like that's what we said, right? Like the Coalition did a tech demo for Unreal Engine 5, but for me, we're not going to see this anytime soon. Obviously, they're just kind of testing the waters with Unreal, and it's going to take them a long time to get the fundamentals behind a new engine, going from what they've used in the past to something brand new. Always takes an adjustment period. I'm definitely pumped to see whatever the Coalition makes. Gears 5 is one of my favorite games. Dude, I had such a blast, and it was co-op the entire time. Absolutely loved that game. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see a while yet. If they're building a new IP, Scott, what would you like to see come out of the Coalition?
Well, I think sort of pigeonholed into some sort of science fiction. I don't think they'll ever get away from that.
Sure.
Terribly far.
Yeah.
They've made the last 2 iterations of Gears, so I expect that kind of action, but in a different setting, different story, different characters. And I think that could be a good venue for them to express their own creative, muscles and get that out. And I'm hoping for something of the same caliber as Gears of War. I've always enjoyed that series. So
yeah,
that transplanted into another universe, I think it could work out really well.
I think so as well, Scott. Why don't we move into game releases, announcements, and updates for today? Scott, take it away.
Yes, we have a few releases today, actually, but I'm just going to run through a few things before we get to that. There is Warframe has now announced that they will have crossplay and cross-save, and that is coming later this year. They had a fan event, and that's where they announced this. There's no concrete release dates set for crossplay or cross-save yet, but they want all players on anywhere that Warframe is available to be able to intermingle and switch up, and that way they expand their community. And I think that's a good move for just about everybody.
Dude, and that game is
Ah.
everywhere too. That's the thing. Like, it's even on Switch. So
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see if that is included as well.
yeah,
They go on to list just about every other system. So
but Switch. Everything but the
except for
Switch.
Switch, but we'll see. I mean, there's quite a lot of time before we'll see that happen anyways.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But there is also, this one's something that's going to excite Nate, I think, on our team. Fallout 76 developers tease significant new feature in the upcoming September update. They go on to say this September, the development team hasn't revealed exactly what it means yet, but Bethesda has teased the feature in a recent Inside the Vault blog post that announces the return of mole miners as well as extra weekly challenges. I don't know what the mole miners are. I'm going to have to wait for the Nathan translation on that one. But they go on to, they're quoted. We haven't yet discussed what's in store for the September update, but it will include a significant new feature that will give players even more variety in how they choose to experience Fallout 76. That's Bethesda writing, we're shooting to reopen the public test servers this month so that the community can dive into this new feature and begin sharing their feedback with us as soon as possible. That sounds quite positive. We've talked about games being delayed. We've talked about botched releases. This is, of course, an older game, but a new update release. You still don't want that to fall flat on its nose. So I think them taking feedback and putting that together sounds positive. I'm a little concerned by their wording, though. They have not yet discussed what's in store for the September update. Does somebody at Bethesda know?
It's you know what, they've really turned Fallout 76 around, because when it first launched, Scott, it was so empty. A lot of people were not happy, man.
No, I tried and I got out early. And
yeah, me too.
I've since asked Nate for a little more clarity on what's
he's back
entailing in the game, but he's put a lot of time into it. So it
certainly
makes me wonder if they're continuing with these updates. I think that's a good sign, and maybe it is time to jump back into it.
Maybe.
But we do have some releases today. There were none yesterday, nor the weekend, actually. Very strange, but we have finally had a resumption in releases, and that starts with Akaiba's Trip, Hellbound, and Debriefed. That's coming to the PlayStation 4, the Switch, and PC. Then we have Chris Tales. That's coming to the PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, Stadia, and PC. Just about everywhere.
Absolutely. Holy crap.
I think that includes all of them, except for that new Atari console. And then we have Death's Door. That's coming to the Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC. Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights. That one is quite a curious title for me, but that's coming to the PlayStation 4 and 5. And then we have Monster Harvest. We were talking a little bit about this earlier. Monster Harvest is coming to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Switch, and the PC.
And Scott, that'll wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. You can always follow us live over at twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube. If you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott, and we'll see you tomorrow inside the game.